Welcome to Rocinio Law. Here's your host, Albert Rocinio.
Everybody's heard about emotional support animals and service pets. They're two different categories. Most people don't realize that, but they are. They come under two different sets of laws. Emotional support animals and service animals are protected by federal law. Most states have their own laws as well. So you got to be familiar with your own state. I'm not going to try and cover all 50 states for you because that's not going to happen. But you have the internet, so you can do that. But let's just talk generally about ESAs, which are the emotional support animals, and service pets or service animals. Both are trained. Whatever type of animal you have, it's got to be trained. If you're going to bring these animals out, they have to be trained. They have to be under control. They have to be housebroken. You can't claim that you have a service pet or an emotional support animal and your animal's going to the bathroom all over the restaurant, or it's running around, it won't sit still, it's continually barking. That's not going to happen. So what you got to do is make sure that you get your pet professionally trained. A lot of organizations want to see professional training certificates. For a emotional support animal, you're talking about basic obedience training, not necessarily specialized training. But again, look into your own particular state. A trained emotional support animal has benefits for traveling, living arrangements. It's easier and more effective and less hassle. You have the right to have your pet even where it says no pets allowed. That includes apartment complexes, condominium associations, townhouse associations, and or private homes. If you're renting, you can't be charged extra for rent, can't be charged extra for security, as long as you have a properly documented emotional support animal or service pet. If you don't, then you're going to have a problem. With a properly trained and licensed and documented emotional support animal, you could take your pet into stores, restaurants, hotels, and you can even use public transportation. For a long time, ESAs, that's emotional support animals, had privileged access on airplanes. However, due to some problems that transpired, and basically, abuse, people wanting to bring in pets that clearly were probably not emotional support animals, onto the plane with them, created issues. So in 2021, the government repealed the Air Carrier Access Act. Therefore, your emotional support animals, not necessarily service pets, your emotional support animals are treated as normal pets on airlines for travel purposes. But that being said, your ESA certainly will have access to things that just a normal pet will not. Most ESAs, there's licensing requirement, has to go through an approval process, which has to be ultimately approved by a medical doctor who's licensed. They can be issued for things like depression, anxiety, sleep disorders, PTSD, etc. So if you have one of those, and you have to have a disability, if you're going to ask for an emotional support animal or you're going to ask for a service pet, you have to have a disability. Your disability has to be documented, okay? You just can't say, I have an emotional support dog, because anybody can buy a vest on the internet today, okay? Anybody can buy a card. But that doesn't make it an emotional support dog. It doesn't necessarily make it legal. Also, too, word of warning for out there, and I know every state's going to be different, but I know, like I think it is here in New Jersey, if you're caught with a fake ID for your animal, claiming their emotional support dog, and they haven't been properly registered, properly trained, properly documented, you're looking at, a criminal offense. You're looking at fines. I mean, you can be prosecuted for that. So, be careful. My recommendation, don't do it. If you get caught doing it, go see an experienced attorney. Very, very, very important. Don't go in alone. Let me see what else we have for you on this. Okay, so let's talk about some service animals. Service animals are for people that have ADA qualifying, that's American with Disabilities Act qualifying disabilities. Things like somebody's blind, somebody's deaf, maybe they're sick, like they have diabetes, cancer, epilepsy, seizures. These are highly trained and specialized animals designed to perform a specific function. Therefore, you have for the blind, you have a seeing eye dog, which most people would be familiar with. But for people like that have seizures or epilepsy, these dogs are trained somehow to smell and know before you have your episode, and they can alert you to the possibility. They can help bring attention to your need. They're very, very, very important, and they're treated as such. So they're not emotional support animals. They're service animals. There is a difference. And again, you can't get that service animal without having a verified disability that qualifies under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Again, as I indicated, if you have one of these pets and they're properly licensed, they save you money because you can't be charged extra for rent. You can't be charged extra for security deposits. Historically, you couldn't be charged extra for flying, although with the repeal of the Air Carrier Access Act, that might not be the case with the flying. They are legal in all 50 states. You have to comply for certain things for housing under the FHA. That's the Federal Housing Act and laws. Although when you do have your animal properly qualified, they are accepted in most places, including most college dorms. So if you have a disability that qualifies and you have a licensed ESA under the Federal Housing Administration, that's the FHA, you're entitled to have that pet with you. And that pet can do a lot of different things, but usually it's there to keep people calm, to help de-stress them. People bring them into schools with them. They can sense and or understand when somebody is about to have an episode, maybe like anxiety or panic attacks, and then they do things like they'll jump up on you, they'll lick your face, they'll distract you to prevent the person from having that, say, that anxiety attack or disability. So they're very important. Different states, different laws. Make sure that you comply with both state and federal law, including like the American with Disabilities Act. Again, for a service animal, you need a disability. It has to be a dog, by the way. An ESA, emotional support animal, may be something other than a dog, although typically it is the dog. But a service pet has to be a dog. Okay, so there's no service pet pigs or service pet birds. It's a dog. And different types of dogs, it doesn't have to be a specific type of dog, but different types of dogs you generally see doing certain types of jobs, like you see a lot of Labrador Retrievers being seeing eye dogs. That's because I think they're a breed that's particularly good at that job once they're properly trained. Again, and the dog has to be trained and meet specific criteria, and the dog has to be trained, generally speaking, be calm, be housebroken, etc. So please, everybody, if you have a disability, look into getting yourself an emotional service animal, or if you have an animal and get the animal trained and look into getting the animal licensed. Follow all state and federal requirements. Do not just simply slap a vest on your dog or pay somebody, $25 or $50 for a card that says you have an emotional support animal. If you do that, you're going to have a problem. Do not confuse emotional support animals with service animals. Service animals are very different, and they're more highly trained and specialized to perform specific tasks, and they have a greater amount of protections than do your ESAs. If there's any questions, please check with your local attorneys in your state for help in this area. I wish you all good luck. I hope you all enjoy your pets. It's my pleasure to bring you this video. Please click like if you like the video. Share it with anybody that you want. And if you be gracious enough to click to sign on to our page, we would love to have you come back for more videos. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you for watching Resinio Law. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.